Well, it would appear I hit the go live button on accident, but here we are. It's been a little bit. I am super excited to finally have a night where I can, kind of just hang out, little live stream, chat with everyone, chat with all the folks. Um, and yeah, it's been a long time, largely because I've just been really busy. Either Sunday nights I've had things that I needed to get accomplished for work, or Sunday nights I've been doing projects, I've been doing, whatever the case might be. And yeah, it just has been busy. It hasn't quite worked out. So fortunately, got myself an evening tonight where it's going to work and not be an issue. And I am pretty excited about it. I planned on, since my computer no longer wishes to be able to live stream, I planned on doing this from my deck. But my neighbor has his kids, and they make a general pastime of literally just screaming as like a way to pass the time, I assume. So we're in the basement on just my phone. I have no idea what the sound quality is going to be like. Again, it was an absolutely gorgeous night, but unfortunately, neighbors screaming, and that wouldn't be fun to listen to for anyone. So lot going on, lot to talk about, lot to that I've tried to accomplish. So I've had issues with drought all year. It's kind of been a deflating year from a lawn care perspective. Parker Fonz, thanks for no way. What's up, man? So fun small world story. Parker here, which I'd forgotten his name, but that's awesome that he's in the chat. So I did a concrete walkway. So I had done all the framing, had it all done, and we finally got it poured, which is a story in and of itself that we'll get into and talk about at some point, I'm sure. But I was ripping the forms apart. Wasn't really sure what I was going to do with all this, lumber, etc. My neighbor comes over, is like, tells me she hears kids in the like wooded lot across the street. Bets they're probably building a fort. So she goes over there as the extrovert that she is, and is like, yeah, they are building a fort in there. So they came over. I took apart all the wood forms. They took all the lumber, and so Parker here building themselves a nice little fort in the woods across from my house on a lot of the scrap wood and lumber and whatever. So that was awesome. I had no idea what I was going to do with it, so I was super pumped that that worked out, and some kids from the neighborhood were able to use it. And then the fact that that individual happened to also be subscribed to my channel is pretty fun. So yes, the vast majority of all of my time and effort and energy has gone into the landscaping project that's been out front. That's been ongoing now for probably the better part of a month, if not even more. All right, Petrosky Yards, Parker, the Lawn Sensei, Andy's Lawn Care and Outdoor Adventures. What's up? I'm trying to get my computer behind the camera here up and going and having the live stream up so that I can follow the chat a little bit easier. It's kind of difficult to do on the phone. I don't know if you're gonna hear this or not. But anyway, and that landscaping project, so I've done all of that. Oh God. I've done all of that myself or with the help of my parents and my father-in-law. So I dug out all of the old flagstone pavers. I went and dug all the dirt down to be able to create the bed for the walkway. Took out all the paver stones that were on top of the step. Pounded off with a sledgehammer about 2 inches of concrete. They poured on top of a nicer concrete slab. Basically, there's like 13 and a half inches between that concrete slab and the level that the porch is at. So they poured 2 inches of concrete, then put 2 layers of paver stones on that to make like a step up to the thing. And Ryan, my shirt says I'm sexy and I mow it. It was a Father's Day gift. It's going to make an appearance in several videos because I filmed two or three videos tonight, I think. My family's out of town. I had my typical foresight with scheduling and planning and calendars where we were trying to fit a vacation into the schedules with my family. And I was like, yeah, I'll just make it work with work. And then it turns out I was going to be leading the work that we were doing for work, so I could not take off. So they are on vacation without me, which is why tonight is a perfect night to get on a little live stream, filmed a bunch of content. But yeah, that is this is a Father's Day gift I got from the wife. I think actually a buddy of mine from work, his wife got him one as well. Different pattern, but same idea. But anyway, yeah, dug all that out. We got the landscaping in, we got all the plants in. I have now the final couple plants are out and where they need to go. I just got to dig the holes and get them in the ground. Currently watering the front yard. I know, don't water at night, you're going to have disease. I almost exclusively water at night, so it'll be fine. So yeah, I have missed the opportunity to talk with and chat with and, you know, have this kind of interaction. I've had a couple people reach out and, you know, ask if I was going to be doing these again, which is really cool that people are actually interested to come and hang out. So yeah, today filmed kind of the July yard update. Walked around. It's just been an issue really with drought. And the fact that I haven't had the time to manage the whole yard as I maybe should have because I've been working on this landscaping project. So, let's see. Upper New York Lawn, what is up, man? Thank you for being here. Trosky Yards, I already shouted out. Parker Fonz, my neighbor who took all the lumber, building a little fort across the street. Ryan Hendricks asking me about the shirt. Andy's out watering tonight too. It's just so I have, to this point, the total of my rainfall is 9.5 inches for all of 2020. And that's it. Last year, this time I was around 15 or 16, and even that felt like it never rained. So we have halved rainfall from the previous year, and that year was low on rain. So it's just been, it's been brutal. And I've managed to just, and I know I have a benefit here being from Wisconsin where it's not, 100 or in the 90s all the time. We only get a couple days where it'll tip into the 90s. So I have a benefit there, but I've managed to keep it mostly green and healthy this is the 6th time I've watered, and then tomorrow I'll water the backyard. But yeah, it's just been a struggle. And then I've watered the green a little bit more often. But the fairway is really losing the battle with drought, and also the fact that probably about 6 or 7 yards of just dirt and material and sod and whatever was run down the fairway, basically to get piled up in the back of the lot. So it did not like that kind of traffic either on a couple days that were very hot. So yeah, it's just a struggle. Side yard I'm fairly pleased with at the moment, just because that whole kind of filling in the low spots process went really well, and I have grass underneath the pine trees for the first time over there. That's all looking nice, and it's just the house is completely transformed with landscaping outside. Everything's just about planted now. All the edges are done and good. The walkway's in, so now I can finally go order some mulch, and all that will be done. And then we are going to be renovating the putting green. Maybe a loose definition of renovate. I'm going to verticut it, sand, top dress, and then seed it. And then also we'll begin the process of renovating the last section of the front yard into making the whole front yard the Kentucky Bluegrass mix, which I'm very excited of, because actually when you're on the road, it's like straight uphill and then to a plateau that goes to my house. So you actually can't, from certain parts of the road, you can't see the good part of my front yard, and you just see the garbage bits that are up front. So I'm excited to have that part be completed as well. And then the whole front yard will be done. And then I don't even know what I do next. Probably the white trash village out behind my garage is going to be the next project to tackle after that. Up New York. I don't know how to say that without making it sound like somebody's telling me like up yours. But up New York lawn. How's the putting green coming along? When are you overseeding the bent grass? Soon. Soon. I have like maybe. I think it's a pound bag, and I probably have like 20 or 30% of it left, but I think it should be enough to go across. And then yeah, maybe I was gonna do it tomorrow, but actually my dad's gonna come down and we're gonna play some golf after work tomorrow. So not gonna be tomorrow. Maybe this weekend, sometime we'll get out there and get it taken care of. And then kind of I'll go over that process too. Petrosky yards, you got seed down that you're watering twice daily, or is it just that hot? That seems like maybe not advised unless you have seed. Andy had 5 inches of rain from June 20th to the 29th, and no rain in the last 7 days. Yeah. I mean, that's half my rainfall for the year. Is that like does that include like? Ooh, careful now. Oh, Northern California. Okay. And there it probably doesn't rain. Well, it probably rains a fair bit there, maybe. I don't know. I don't know what the climates are along the West Coast. But anyway, talked a little bit about me. What are all of you guys up to? What's everybody got? What's everybody got going on? I haven't had an opportunity to see what everybody's up to. Projects you got going on, things you're doing, things you're working on, questions you have for me, anything. Let's talk about all of it. Thinking about seeding my bent grass mid-August. Hopefully the heat doesn't come back and hopefully it grows well on a 80-20 mix. What's the 20? I'm assuming the 80 is bent grass. What's the 20%? Rye or something? Trosky yards. I think I remember that. I have. It's kind of cool. I actually have a fair few people that message me now. So, like, just back and forth with questions or whatever, which I appreciate. I'm sure you have. If I'm honest, I don't remember. Oh, the top dress, not the seed. My apologies. Okay, I read that wrong. Reading comprehension is apparently not great this evening. How 100% Barracuda bent grass. Nice, man. That's cool. I'm not going to spend that kind of. I'm assuming that's spendy. I'm not going to spend that kind of money until I have the area behind the garage done, and then that'll kind of be the permanent location for the putting green. I don't want to get too carried away. Nice. That's right. Okay. But yeah, I don't want to get too carried away on the expenditure with the putting green where it is right now, because it's not going to be the final destination for the putting green. And also, I kind of like, as somebody trying to help homeowners figure out how they can have a natural grass putting green in their own backyard, I don't want to, spend $400 or $500 for a 5-gallon pail of bent grass and be like, you can have a putting green too, because that's like it's not achievable for most people, period, and it's going to be even harder to swing that kind of investment in grass seed. And maybe Barracuda isn't that expensive. I don't know anything about any of the bent grass varieties, but I'm assuming it's expensive. And how deep are you on that 80-20 sand mix? Because I know that's one thing that Backwoods Lawn Care talks about a lot, is he did like a USGA spec base down 10 inches, and he fights against that constantly, because any fertilizer you put down, anything, any water, any of it, just pretty much just leaches out of the sand immediately. So it completely changes how you have to manage it, where it's constantly really small feeding, really, really often, because you're pretty much just feeding the plant and not the soil. 450 square feet, so only about a pound would do. Got to. Okay. So it's something you can buy in smaller quantities. Where did you get that from, if I can ask? Because I haven't been able to find a good spot to buy bentgrass seed. I've looked on Amazon, and there's like Pencross and a couple others, but like to get into the like seed distributors or like the local landscape suppliers and places that golf courses buy to, is it's all like these 5-gallon pails that are just $1 million. Bought 2 pounds and use it all. Okay. Where are we buying the seed from, folks? keep the soil underneath. I think that's probably the way to go. I don't think I'd recommend. Okay, Barracuda must be cheaper then. That's cool. That's good to know. Oh no, never mind. That was Pencross. Yeah, the Pencross is cheap and from Amazon, and that was what. So I don't know if everyone in here has watched the like kind of mistakes that I've made and kind of what I'm learning through the first summer with the putting green is basically wherever the Pencross took really well, um, it survived and it didn't get damaged as much by disease pressure and drought pressure as the existing turf that was there, which was, just whatever bent grass and any other turf that was in that was just on the that just existed in my backyard previously, that all kind of got shredded by the heat and by disease. So I'm that was kind of why I went the direction I went to go, to kind of decide that I'm going to do a little tiny renovation. It's not going to be super invasive. I'm not going to, bury it, and I'm not going to dig up or kill out anything, but I'm just going to give it a little verticut, throw the rest of the sand I have on top of it, and then seed it and water it to get the rest of it germinated in, and then hopefully manage that and get it looking really good through the fall. Andy's asking about the low cost, low effort, they're cheap and easy lawn care program. I have Milorganite in my garage ready to go. I just need to be able to get over to my brother-in-law's house and see what's going on over there, and put that application down. But that should be, I bought the Milo today, so it'll be soon. Backwoods Lawn Care, what's up, man? Thanks for stopping by. Mountain View Seeds, okay. That's awesome. How'd you get in contact with Mountain View? Man, it just must be the introvert in me that I just don't reach out, or I'm not aggressive enough in working with, reaching out to companies to see if they want to work with me. But no, I've never once received an email from any company ever to do anything. Like, not even the like the Chinese product scams. Like, I haven't even gotten a Chinese product scam email. Almost at 2,000 subscribers, for crying out loud. Somebody call me. I'm kidding. I don't actually think I'm entitled to some company sending me product, but still. That's pretty cool. The bent grass and then the rye surrounding. I am liking bent grass as a shortcut turf option for the yard. Like, it just works when you cut it short. Like, the fairway section I have not babied at all. It's cut at 4/10 of an inch, and it's done so well. It's drought stressed, it's heat stressed, it's not leveled, it's none of that, and it just looks really good, and it gets super thick. Let's see, what do we got? Lon Sensei wanted to try the PGR you suggested, but seems like they don't ship to me from Do My Own. Really? I'm assuming you are not in the continental US then? Or that's interesting. Because yeah, that was huge. I still have basically 98% of that bottle left, and I've done 4 PGR applications because I use less than 1/8 of an ounce every time. Everybody talking to everybody. That's cool to see. Petrosky Yards, the real mower is a game changer, though. Mind, it's so good. Like, and I don't remember. And again, I apologize for my poor memory. I don't remember if you have a powered one or a manual one, but the powered reel mower game just, I don't wish I had a smaller yard, but I kind of wish I had a smaller yard, because if I did, I'd be reel mowing the whole thing. It looks having the stripes that reel mowers put down, having shortcut turf is freaking sweet, which is why I like the fairway to at least get a little taste of that kind of shortcut turf. You're lucky to find Milo here in Buffalo. It's impossible. That's actually something I want to address when I do this video. Is I don't know if it probably won't be part of the cheap and easy lawn care program. That I think I want to address for beginners, how to understand what fertilizer actually costs. Like, which that's kind of, when you hear it out loud, it's like, that's stupid. It's the price tag. You know how much fertilizer costs because they make you pay that much when you buy it. But more from the perspective of, and especially as, you know, as the Lawn Care 101 Facebook group that I'm a part of has grown, you start to see, you know, what the kind of meme that Milo was and kind of what Alan did with Milorganite. And that's not anything to say negative on him, because everything that he suggested is correct. Milo and the other organic fertilizers are really the best option for beginners, because you can't mess it up. And it works well, and it's slow release, and it's got some iron in it, and Milorganite will give you a great color response, and it's a good fertilizer, and there's nothing wrong with it. But I think everybody took, you know, kind of the meme that he created and took it as like actual lawn care advice. Because I've seen a couple times, you know, people talking about like just buy Milorganite and just throw it down at, you know, whatever, it doesn't matter, it won't burn, it can't do anything, it's, you know, brush your teeth with it, do whatever, like it's the miracle thing. And it's like, well, it's not that. It's a good fertilizer and it does the job, but especially now at like a Home Depot for $16, that's obscenely expensive. When you start to talk about the fact that a bag covers 2,500 square feet. And so basically that $16 bag is becoming a let's see, what's that math? Like $6 per thousand? That's really, really expensive for fertilizer when you can grab, you know, maybe Scott's whatever that's a higher nitrogen. And, you know, yeah, it's $55 instead of $16, but that $55 gets you 15,000 square feet. And now that's only $3.5 a thousand. So that's kind of what I want to do around Milorganite is like talk about what it actually is, and then use it as an example to talk about like what fertilizer and what other applications actually cost for beginners, and figuring that out. Because, you know, I'm fortunate, to your point, I'm lucky here in Milwaukee because I can go over to Ace Hardware and Milo's $8 a bag and I can get as many as I want because there's just a pallet out front, because, you know, I'm a part of the supply chain. So it's cheaper here. But honestly, if I live somewhere where you can't get it for less than $10 a bag, I don't think I'd use it because it's too expensive. Petrosky, best of luck with the putting green mow. That's awesome. Congrats on getting that set up, and congrats on the mower. Lon Sensei, Washington State. Really? I suppose is that one of the states that like none of the Greene County products can be shipped to as well, because the various state laws restrict all that stuff? Can you get T-Nex? Is it just the Promaxis that you can't get, or can you not get like any PGRs? Having a project and pitch it to them at the end of the day, mine is only 1,000 square feet. It's another 1,200 square feet. Not a big deal for them for the promotion. Yeah, that's kind of what I figured, and I should have. I kind of reached out to Barenbrug and just asked, like, hey, what do you have for, I have a putting green in my backyard, what would you recommend? Kind of in the hopes of the guy I was talking to kind of figuring it out. But yeah, I'm not a big, what's the word? I can't come up with a, like, panhandler. I'm not a big panhandler, like trying to reach out to people and get. It's just not in my nature. I don't like doing it. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I think I should. It's not for me. I can't get myself to do it. Aaron Thompson, what's up, man? Happy Tuesday. Had the horror story of dethatching right before 90-degree drought. Half the front and half of the back are still really thin and brown. My suggestion first probably would have been to not dethatch in July. That probably would have been my first suggestion. I think that's probably something that's pitched a lot more than it should be. says the guy who made a video on the Sunjo dethatcher in the spring and talking about not having to rake anymore. So I get the tongue-in-cheek kind of issue with me saying that. But August of like last year, you dethatched and it's still thin. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Back in April? We can't be in August of this year, Aaron. Unless I'm just misreading something that you've put out there. That's okay. Hold on, time traveler. This is not how this works. Okay. So that's kind of interesting that, because I did the same thing with the Sunjo, I think in maybe March, when my yard came out of the snow, and it was just, like, honestly disgusting. The snow mold was so bad. And I used it because I didn't want to rake anymore. I don't have the physical fitness necessary to rake my whole yard. And so I bought it and used it for that and pulled a ton of material up and kind of got everything fluffed up and airflow and everything. And my yard wasn't even really aware that it happened. So that's kind of interesting. Let's see. Where are you from? I guess first, that'll help. Where are you from? Do you know what kind of grass type you have? New York lawn still got that 7-blade will get down to like 3/8 of an inch though, I think, which that's a good place to start. But yeah, 1/8 of an inch is the target. How often? Chad French asks, how often do you put down PGR? I'm in Iowa. I've been really thinking about pulling the trigger because I'm mowing 30,000 square feet of grass. Okay. So first of all, for your yard and for your size, don't take my recommendation. Permaxis Mech is not the cheapest PGR for you. You need to get a gallon of T-Nex first if you want to go this route. It's going to be a quarter of the cost for you, and you actually have the use for a full gallon. So I have a video where I talked about the concept of growing degree days. So basically, and as simply as I can explain it, is the plant, either the plants or the biology of the soil or some combination of both, metabolize plant growth regulators in a way that varies depending on the temperature outside. So basically, growing degree days are a measure of determining how long it actually is taking for the plant to metabolize an application of plant growth regulator and make it not effective anymore. So what I found is, again, you are in Iowa, so you're going to be cool season grasses. There's a couple things too. Also, plant growth regulators are more effective the shorter you cut. So the shorter mowed the turf is, the more effective plant growth regulators are at limiting top growth. So if you're mowing tall, sorry, I read chat and then my brain just flips off for a second. So if you're mowing tall, the PGR isn't going to be quite as effective, but it still will work and it still will help you. So all that is a very long answer to say, go to Syngenta. Greencast has a growing degree day tracker for your area. So if you're ambitious, basically the calculation is you take the high temperature for that day in Celsius. So you gotta figure out Celsius too. If you want to do it yourself, take your high temperature for the day. If you have like a thermometer outside, you can track it or something that allows you to do this. High temperature minus the low temperature. Divide that by 2. That's incorrect. The average of the high and the low temperature. So high temperature plus low temperature divided by 2, average of the air temperature for the day, and that you add up until it's 200. So you can try to do that yourself, or you can use an online tool that tracks something for your area. So basically I just go onto Syngenta, Greencast, growing degree day, tracker, basically. If you Google that, you'll find it, or you can go to the video, and I think I have a link to it. And basically, then you note the day that you put the PGR down. It has a running total for the year, basically. So say you put the PGR down on a day when the total growing degree days for the year was 1,000. You are going to watch that until the total growing degree days for the year goes past 1,200, and then you go to apply again. So basically, it's 200 growing degree days based on the 0 degrees Celsius base. So go to the website, put in your zip code, click the little drop down to get 0 degrees Celsius, and then follow that until it's the day you applied plus 200. I hope it's not as complicated as it sounds to say it. Like, it's hard to try to explain clearly. It's not this complicated. Go the day you applied, see the number, add 200 to that. When the website tells you the total is that new number, go apply it again. Every 200 growing degree days on a 0 degree Celsius base. Up New York Lawn, they have something like Milo for around $13, but I don't trust it. Agreeing to what you said about Scott's, I've used this years and it worked well. Yeah, I mean, something I try, and it's not entirely true because there are differences in fertilizer chemistry and how the fertilizer chemistry interacts with the soil, and what it's used as a carrier and what the filler is, and I get that all that matters, but at the end of the day, fertilizer is fertilizer, and there's no need to make it any more complicated than that. You can make it more complicated than that, but I don't know how much it's actually worth taking your time and worrying about it. If you want to sit in a forum and proclaim your self-importance and knowledge and everything that you know about lawn care, and can't believe he's using a fertilizer that has that as the filler in it. If you want to be that guy, you can. That's fine. Fertilizer's fertilizer, and it's all gonna work. It's all fine. It's all good, and just try to remain within a budget that you're comfortable with. Utilize a soil test if you can, so you're at least going in the right direction and doing the things that your grass and your soil need. And that's all. All the fertilizer's good. It can't be on the market and it can't be sold if it isn't certified to have that analysis. And if it has that analysis, that's what it has in it. It's things that the grass plant needs. Lawn Sensei, you are not the person with 30,000 square feet. I don't believe that was somebody else. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, at that point, Lawn Sensei, your best bet is to try to find somebody else that will use PGRs and, split it with them. I do think the shelf life is like 5-6 years. Or no, excuse me, like 3 to 5 years. I think somebody commented on one of my videos that the shelf life is about 3 to 5 years. And figure you're going to be applying every 2 or 3 weeks in the summer by, I think taller cut, like cool season grass is maybe an ounce per 1,000. So you have 128 ounces in a gallon. Figure out how long that's going to last you. Maybe it's worth it, maybe it's not. Okay, back to Aaron on his question. So cool season grass in South Dakota, realistically that should have filled in by now, which maybe leads me to believe that you do not have any Kentucky bluegrass in your turf, and it's either like all rye and all fescue, or you maybe need to be mowing a little bit more often, or fertilizing a little bit more heavily, or watering a little bit more heavily. But yeah, I've followed along to the Kentucky bluegrass in the front yard, and that went from probably 60-40 grass dirt to all grass from April to now. Honest question, if you mow like me 4 times a week, rotary soon to be real, still worth to put the PGR down? I've heard it helps with color. So the label on plant growth regulators, like the label on Permaxis Mech, actually talks about the benefits of PGR. So the label basically says it's a miracle cure for everything. Like quite literally, it says if it applied before times of stress, drought and heat stress, it will help the plant deal with that. It says it can help on the onset of disease pressure. It can help the lawn deal with disease and issues there. It can help with the reduction of like POA seed heads and other grass seed heads. It can reduce that. It can help with the color response in shortcut turf because again, when you're cutting shorter, you lose some of that kind of dark green color that you get when you're cutting it taller. So basically, on the label, which I think is like, what would it be, FDA? EPA? Probably EPA, Environmental Protection. EPA, probably EPA certified label. It's like the miracle cure. And I think too, the other thing is that it's going to help is, the plant is just putting less energy into growing vertically. So it's putting all of that energy into doing other beneficial things, root zones, spreading, color, all that stuff is essentially what happens. So I still think it's worth it. It's not necessary. It is absolutely not necessary to use a PGR. But I think from what I've seen is it definitely helps. Let's see, any non-extremely expensive PGR. So I did that video on the product is called Promaxis Mech, and that was actually what Lawn Sensei was referring to that he couldn't get. Is it's actually more expensive than T-Nex on a per ounce basis. So it's about $4 an ounce, but you can get it in an 8-ounce bottle. So it's only $33 for a one-time investment. And if you're doing, say 1,000 square feet shortcut, like for me, bent grass at green's height is an 1/8 of an ounce per 1,000. And in my climate where the highs are going to range from 82 to 92 throughout the summer, I'm reapplying probably every 20-ish days. Andy, appreciate you stopping by. Have yourself a good evening. Sorry, now I got chat and my wife is messaging me on my phone and I got a lot of things going on. What are we talking about? Not expensive PGRs. So that Promaxis Mech bottle at 8 ounces for me is going to last, well in excess of a couple of years, and it's $34. But if you are going to use, if you have the need and the use for a full gallon, T-Nex is like $1.60 an ounce, and Promaxis Mech is like $4 1/4. So it's a smaller one-time investment with $34, but on a like per application basis and per ounce basis, it's quite a bit more expensive. But that's a good like entry trial to get a little 8-ounce bottle rather than having to commit to a gallon for $165 or whatever T-Nex is. Backwoods confirming anything's better than nothing, which I would tend to agree. Chad French mowing between 2.5 to 3 inches. Started a tee box and a green, which is a rotary. Restoring a John Deere reel mower. Nice. Yeah, it's not complicated, Chad. It's not complicated. It's just really difficult to communicate in like words. So it's just high temperature in Celsius, averaged with low temperature in Celsius, and then you just keep a running total until it hits 200. That's literally all it is, but it's kind of tricky to communicate that. Is manual reel mowing 2 to 2.5 inches grass a waste of time? Is it for short turf only? There's probably a personal value assessment in the answer to that question. Because, if you buy a manual reel mower, it's probably 14 to 16 inches across compared to your 21-inch reel mower. So it's going to take you, let's say, even if you can walk at the same speed, you're going to take, 30 some odd % more time to mow your lawn. So naturally it's going to take longer. So there's that to consider. However, anytime I've used the manual reel mower, You have a 20-inch reel? Okay. So then about the same amount of time so that we can throw that variable away and I'll stop wasting everybody's time. The cut is better, to Clint's point. Also, Neighbor Dominator Clint, what is up, man? Thank you so much for stopping by. To his point, yes, the reel will give a cleaner cut because you're essentially cutting with a scissors rather than cutting it ninja style with the rotary mower with the blades spinning around. So you're getting a cleaner cut, and it's a little bit healthier for the grass. Now, I don't actually know how much more beneficial that is, but you're going to get a little bit better and a little bit more consistent color just because you're not getting the little brown tips from the little shredding. You know, no matter how sharp you get a rotary mower, it's still realistically just tearing. You know, it can cut cleaner, but it's never going to cut as clean as a reel. So you have that. It's great exercise if that's something you're looking for. But yeah, I think that's kind of your own decision. If pushing one of those things around just sounds like suffering, I don't know if it's necessarily that big of a benefit to be worth it. But if you like the exercise, it is going to be a cleaner cut, and it is going to be, you know, generally a little bit healthier for the turf because you're not exposing the tip and damaging the grass plant and exposing it to disease and all that. Now, I don't know how severe that impact is or how significant the difference is, but there will be a difference. Could it be beneficial for new seed development, or should I wait till next summer? Somebody else asked me that question at some point, and I couldn't really find anything on the label that talked about seeding, about what you do with, about like how it impacts new grass and what you can do with new grass. My gut would be that you don't want to put it on newly germinated grass because it needs to grow up to establish. So that's my thought, but I have literally no idea if that's correct. I would say once you mow it a couple times, then it just becomes like any other product where once you get 3, 4, 5 mows in, now it's established and you can start using pretty much anything and it would become beneficial. But I also don't know that for sure. Lon Sensei, thank you for stopping by. No need to apologize. Have yourself a great night. Have I ever used any Lawn Star products? I have not. The only things I have used is this year I've pretty heavily leveraged like Anderson's and other products, like just generic commercial products that I've been getting from Reinders, which is a local, like, kind of more warehouse commercial type retailer. I've used some Scott's products. I've used some Vigoro products. I've used Carbon Earth Company when that existed. I did 2 applications in the spring of Yard Mastery products, and I still have a handful of bottles of Green County fertilizer liquids that I've used, but nothing from Lawn Star. No Simple Lawn Solutions, none of that. Clint, if only there were a way for you to have known about that 8-ounce bottle a couple months ago. Maybe I'm just brainstorming here, just spitballing. Maybe somebody might have made a video on it a couple months ago, and you could have, I don't know, you could have watched that video and known about it. But that's, I mean, I don't know. Let's see. Grace Ortiz, what is up? Thank you so much for. I feel like the first time that I had Super TA in the chat of a live stream, and the first time I had Grace Ortiz in the chat of a live stream or commenting on my videos, that was when I felt like I had, like, really made it in the lawn care community. So, Grace, appreciate you stopping by, and greatly appreciate all the support you give to all of the lawn care creators. Lawn Star Iron was the only good one. I wasn't a fan. Interesting. I feel like to some degree that stuff all has to kind of be the same. I could be wrong, but it's all about the same price. They all are like the same products. Like Simple Lawn Solutions is a 16.48. Lawn Star is a 16.48. I think, like, There's like a bunch that they're all like the same exact price. They have to all be the same, but I could be wrong. Victoria, what is up? The Greensmaster is doing well. Needs to be sharpened. Definitely needs to be sharpened, but still running, charging well. Holding the putting green at 1/8 of an inch, and it is still working like a dream, despite being almost as old as I am. Not that that's that old, but for a piece of machinery, it's pretty old. Lawn Star iron is the cheapest for a gallon. Okay. Chelated? Because I feel like that's the kind of critical component, is if it's chelated or not. Bought the T-Nex over a year ago. How much you got left, Clint? My favorite soil amendment product. I guess I can really only speak to the Greene County stuff. And really, I haven't had all that much time. I haven't done a lot of apps on the way of, micronutrient, soil treatment, the aerates, RGSs. I have done OO2 a couple times when I was getting ready for the kids' birthday party to try to darken everything up. I did sulfur, elemental sulfur this year for the first time. I'm going to do that again probably in September to get a month out from my soil test and see if I can move my pH. I'm also planning on doing the my soil and a lab soil test, just to see if one's better than the other, or what sort of readings I get. I want to do both just because I have the trend data over 2 years now of the my soil test, and so I want to keep the same, because I know they measure the nutrients in the soil differently, so I want to keep that same reference point so that I can see what I've done over time and what I've improved, and then make the jump to, okay, so this is where I've been going. This is what now at the kind of destination where I'm at, this is what my soil is saying. And then, okay, we're going to correlate that to what the lab soil test is saying. And then now we can build on that one. Because, I don't know, it seems that the vast majority of people who know what they're talking about are not believers in the my soil test. So that's kind of my take. I think the my soil test is the easiest, definitely, and I would still definitely recommend that for people who want to just dabble into soil testing, because everything comes, you get it, you put it in a little cup, you send it off. That's all. You don't have to guess at how much you need. You don't have to fill a bag and get shipping labels and get all that stuff. It's everything comes and it's ready and it's good to go. I've been giving it away. Yeah, man. The problem with gallon jugs at low use rate products is those things are going to last for decades, and the product might not last for decades. So, Princess Cut, George, what's up? We got the whole wedded pair in the chat. Vicky saw you on the TV and said, "Hey." I remember that guy. Yeah. That's fantastic. What's up, George? Thanks for stopping by. Up New York Lawn's got a flex on all of us that you live somewhere where it rains. That must be nice. What's it like being in a part of the country where it rains? Doesn't do that here. I got all these lakes, all this drinkable water, but none of it wants to fall from the sky. George, we're live streaming here on a Tuesday night because I am family free here. It started Sunday. We were originally all scheduled to go on a little family vacation, but I didn't check my work schedule closely enough, so I couldn't get off this week. So have the house to myself. Been obscenely productive. It's amazing when you go from not having kids to having kids, and then you get a minute where you don't have kids. You just the whole world opens up in terms of time you have to do things. Get the proper samples, but yeah. Let's see. For sure. No, and that's the thing is, you know, if the whole world keeps cooking itself, property values in this part of the world are going to go up pretty sharply once the entire East Coast is underwater and the West Coast doesn't have any drinking water anymore. Yeah, not a flyover state anymore. We're the only livable place in the country. And yeah, George, that was a cool video on the earnings, because the one thing I've never understood and I didn't care enough to look into is I didn't know if there was something in the partner agreement that didn't let you share, that like didn't allow you to share how much you made. But that was cool. That was a good video. Thinking about picking up a Greensmaster. There's still quite a few for sale in like the Chicago area, I think, in the like $500 to $800 range. So, at least I think. I haven't looked in a little bit just because I'm all set now. I just probably have to get the Greensmaster sharpened, and I think when I got the Jacobson service, they said that the reel to bed knife can't be adjusted any further because of the reel wear. So I'm probably gonna have to buy a new reel for the Jacobson. So the investment into that Jacobson will continue. You know, that was interesting, and it pretty much mirrors what I have as well, just on a much smaller scale. Where pretty much my RPM is like 830, and then my CPM is like 13. So, shout out to like the 30% of people that use ad blockers. Dicks. Oh god, I hit the tripod again. Hold! Hold! Visiting this, yeah, if you're gonna be, oh man, I'm not gonna be able to make it. Daughter's birthday and with the family out of town, I can't justify getting away to go hang out with some lawn care dudes, which makes me quite sad, but it is what it is. That's a great point, Grace. That's a great point. A big old lake house, though. Some bank would have to give you a second on that property to finance the Greensmaster. Hey, I love to hear that, Princess. I love, like, for me, like, my favorite part of having a YouTube channel so far, outside of, you know, and I talk about this a lot, is I really created the YouTube channel just for myself to be able to follow along kind of the progress we make here. But once I did a live stream and people actually showed up and the chat actually had interaction in it, like, that was the biggest thing for me. So being on the freshman class podcast was so fun. Any and all of that, and why I kind of tried to do the Sunday night thing, and then my schedule just stopped letting me continue to do that. Except for bed sheets. Oh, that's a good one. Maybe like a t-shirt or two. I feel like I'm not interested in wearing somebody else's t-shirt either. Just clothes in general. Buy new clothes. But yeah, I have. Oh, I'm back down to 5 lawnmowers now. I sold the McLean manual to some teenager around the area that wanted to start cutting his grass short, which I think is fantastic. So yeah, I have 5 lawnmowers in the garage, and 4 of them are used. So. Yeah, man. I feel like that's the thing for the winter time. Like, there's not a lot that you can do. Where, like, there's so much to do on this property, and it never ends. So so like once summer hits, like I spend every daylight hour that I'm not working or responsible for kids outside trying to accomplish something. Like I talked about, this landscape project has taken me a month basically of, every lunch and every night, um, just grinding on either digging the walkway out or planting. Fortunately, I have my parents will come down and help me for a day, and we get a lot done on those days. So we got all the plants done, but like, it never stops. And I haven't even started to touch the white trash village behind the garage yet, and that's going to be a whole new project, and I haven't even made it there yet. Yeah. Also, yeah, Clint does have the battery powered Allen, I think. That's the one thing I would like to get, is the Allen system, just because of all the various attachments and various cartridges you can put on it is just useful. But I think between a greens mower and that Sunjoe, I think you have the verticut option on the Sunjoe that seems to work pretty well. I've done it a couple times on the green. I did it 2 weeks ago, and actually was in the hopes that it would help the grass kind of spread through the trenches and the verticut to kind of free up that soil, but it didn't really seem to work as well as the aerate did. Where like when I aerated a couple of the bare spots, the aerator just like, or the grass just like grew into the aerate hole. I didn't see it, I didn't do anything. It's just like the second that free space it opened up, it just grew in there. So I think that's probably the way to go, but still, to be able to verticut it once it gets really thick, that's going to be crucial as well. I don't even know if that was addressing a question, but I'm just talking because that's what you do on live streams. Oh man, now we got everybody talking about meeting up on Saturday, and it makes me more sad. Winter is for ice rinks and hockey. I mean, I can make. I mean, we're all basically Canadian here too, eh? So it's not really that different. Expecting our first child in March, so next season is going to get more complicated for me. Yeah, it does. You just have less time, but they sleep sometimes. First of all, congrats, it's awesome. They do sleep sometimes, and so when our kids were younger, basically instead of accomplishing things at nighttime, because then they didn't like, now my kids go to bed at 7:15, 7:30, so I have that time after. That didn't used to happen. So then basically anytime they were napping, I would just go outside and do whatever I needed to do. And I basically just told my wife, like, hey, when they wake up, just call me back in. And so that was how I did stuff when they were younger. Yeah. It is expensive, but it kind of slick. The things are small though too. That's kind of the issue. Where like, if I'm used to all the greens mowers now, but we'll see. Love the video on overseeding Kentucky Bluegrass. Yeah, it fit into kind of where I try to position myself for people in terms of how I want to help, is to show people you don't have to do the thing that everybody tells you have to do. I've kind of tried my best to differentiate between what is best practice and what is necessary. So to try to break down the, best practice is you water twice a week for, an inch to an inch and a half total. But that's not necessary. You're supposed to overseed all the time to get a thick lawn, but that's not necessary. So, and especially with Kentucky Bluegrass, and what I learned from the first two seeding projects is both of them came in fairly thin, and within a couple months they were as full as could be. And that was kind of what I wanted to communicate to people, is like, you panic because Kentucky Bluegrass takes so long to establish, and then when it comes in, it's thin. You feel like you've failed with your seeding project, and you got to throw more seed, and Kentucky Bluegrass seed is freaking expensive. So it's a big investment, but if you just chill and give it like a month or two, you're gonna have an absolutely gorgeous lawn. That's why I'm a big KBG guy myself. Yeah, exactly. I guess I maybe shouldn't have been so hard on the roast of you not watching one of my videos because I didn't know you had KBG on the side yard. So, I concede this round. New York lawn, no worries, man. Yeah, I guess the 20-inch would be fairly. Is that what you have? You have the 20-inch one now, George? But yeah. So for me, I like the it's kind of fits in with the cheap and easy lawn care program that I'm trying to get. It doesn't take all of these products and all of this money and all of this. No, I know I'm just giving you a hard time. Um, um, to basically, golly, it really it's harder than you think to read chat and speak words, especially when you're a few old fashions in. But yeah, that's kind of where I've tried to focus all my energy in terms of the non-vlog videos, is like how a beginner can do as little as possible and still have great results. So that was the hey, just relax, don't overseed your Kentucky Bluegrass. 17 is big. Okay. Okay. That makes sense. Is that still the Kensington? Yeah, it would be. It would be the Kensington. Or the whatever the battery powered one is. I can't think of it off the top of my head. Yeah, I feel like anybody in to Backwoods Lawn Care's comment, anybody that has a nice yard in Canada, man, we should all bow down at the feet of those people because they are doing lawn care at the highest degree of difficulty. No herbicide, barely any fertilizers, like just brutal conditions. Our brothers to the north. Yeah, obviously the battery one is like a little toy. I feel like it'd be something that might like very akin to the little vacuum that my daughter pushes around whenever either my wife and I are vacuuming. I wish my computer was better. Just because, and I might try to make my computer better at some point, because I would love to do, this type of content, but with any and all of you. So where we have 2 or 3 people on, and it's not, there's no purpose, there's no agenda, there's no anything. It's just we're all gonna hang out with chat, talk to each other, and just shoot the shirts about lawn care and just about whatever we're doing. Because like I recognize for the purposes of YouTube and the purposes of the algorithm and all that stuff, I understand that you need to have a target and purpose and something that's going to keep people around. But like I just want to talk about taking care of grass with the people. Flex 21 would be sweet. Every so often I go onto that Prairie Turf Equipment website and try to convince myself that I can pay $2,800 for a used reel mower, and then I very quickly remind myself that's freaking stupid and don't do that. Yeah, I mean, George, I just don't want to have to seed anytime something bad happens. So I think that's why I want to try the different grass types in my different yards. Like part of me wants to do like a shortcut rye in the side yard at some point, and part of me wants to do like fescue in the back, just to have experience with it. But the idea of like, you know, a spot dying for whatever reason, because that happens a lot. You know, it's just a sectional die because you didn't get on a disease app fast enough, or you know, weeds took over a section and you couldn't get there fast enough, and a little section dies. Like, knowing that I have to seed that, I don't know. I just want I just want my grass to fix itself, which is why like bent grass is interesting too, because it kind of has the same function. Yeah. Ryan Backwoods Lawn Care just recently did an update video on his putting green in the back, and it's starting to come along from, he just shredded it earlier in the year, where mine isn't looking as good at the moment. It is it's struggling with the conditions I'm dealing with here. We can't all be right tool, unfortunately. But that would be the dream. That would be the dream, to have Toro send me a 1026. Ooh. The practice facility. Sabre GC would be on point. Which, speaking of, I'm hopeful that maybe 2022 will be the year of... Nah, no chance. Probably 2023 is going to be the year of practice, like the true practice facility construction here. I think I'm going to have to take out at least one tree and possibly a couple other trees. And then basically I'll have... And then basically I'll have about 65 yards from the road down the side yard to where I want to put the putting green. And man, that's going to be the dream. Plus then it's pretty much unobstructed. A little sniped pull would hit my garage, but everything else is pretty much free and clear. I've hit a couple balls from the road over my house to the green in the back, but that's risky. Overseeding with KBG. Yeah, I don't know how much success. Oh, talking's hard. I don't know how much success like overseeding Kentucky bluegrass into existing turf you're gonna have. But some of it'll take, just because it's so dang slow. And yeah, I mean, if you're not the cult ambassador having actual Toro products sent to you, George, I am definitely not the Toro ambassador. Maybe Aaron's will send me a snowblower. I have an Aaron's dealer not too far from me, and I have a Gravely 48-inch lawnmower. Actually, a new like a Gravely 52-inch hydro would be the dream. That would be fantastic, to not have to spend $7,600 on a new mower whenever the one that I have right now dies. I mean, I feel like at some point there's only so much they can do, Ryan. Like, if they're just literally not allowed to sell a product in an area, like, there's probably just nothing they can do. Take that out when you get the Toro. Yeah, the lawnmower exchange program. We probably haven't leveraged that enough in the lawn care community. There have been a couple people that have done it. Me for for one, but need more of that. I can't speak to John Deere reel mowers. I don't know. I've never had one. I've never been near one. I've never been in the presence of one. Look at this. Princess Cut Lawn Care. George coming in with $4.99 for the sharpening fund. Thank you so much, my guy. That is actually, that is my first super chat. So I appreciate that so much. You are a true gentleman within the lawn care community in terms of what you've done for several creators and myself being in that list. So thank you so much. That's right. Ryan is. That's right. Okay, we're talking to him about his John Deere. Easy to work on and it never breaks down. I'm thinking. I think the Toro that I got from George has some combination of belts starting to give way and the reel needs to be sharpened. Just because it's starting to want to basically the lever to engage the reel. If I'm not gentle enough on engaging the drive, that lever will pop back out where it doesn't want to spin the reel. So, and it's not reel to bed knife's not too tight. I know that. I've checked that. So it's either belts or just the reel isn't sharp enough. So once it has to work too hard to cut. So it's just a matter of time and finding. I got so many. I have my Ryobi sprayer is somewhere getting some warranty repair done because that stopped working, which was pretty cool because my disease issues are so bad that I legitimately can't afford to keep using Headway G. I mean, I can, but I don't want to. So I picked up Eagle, what is it, Eagle 20EW? Whatever it is. I think it's Eagle 20EW to start to flip to a liquid, one, to rotate active ingredients on the fungicide side, as well as to reduce my cost of application from like $9 1,000 to like $1 1,000 for the application rate from going from the granular Headway G to Eagle. And then pretty much when it showed up at my door, my sprayer stopped working. So I was left with no way to put fungicide down. And I don't feel like spending $200 to go get Headway G while I still have $200 of Eagle in my garage. Lawn care is expensive, you guys. That's interesting on the chains. Jacobson uses witchcraft and voodoo, I believe. I don't understand what exactly they use, but apparently it costs a gentleman in Chicago $500 to like change the oil and sharpen the reel and flip a guard around. Actually, that was one of the most irritating things that I've ever found out when I had a broken thing. So that Jacobson made this horrible noise when I got it when I was mowing, and I read the slip from when I took it in, and basically just somebody put a guard on the wrong way, and so that guard was rubbing on the reel, and that was the noise it was making, and that was why it was so hard to use and run. And so $500 later, somebody flipped that guard around and sharpened the reel and changed the oil. Backwoods putting his full endorsement behind John Deere. That's good to know. New York Lawn, backlapping DIY, sharpening, send it somewhere. So backlap is more from my understanding, actually, I shouldn't say this as like an authority on the operation, but backlapping is a maintenance practice. So it's the thing you do between getting the reel sharpened. It's not the thing you do to sharpen the reel. So that you can absolutely do yourself. It's very simple. I did it on the McLean to try to kind of sharpen that up. I'm gonna try to do it on the Toro to see if that helps it enough to get me through the season. To not have to be a one reel mower guy, because being able to go between cutting the green and the fairway without changing the height is game changing, and I don't want to go back to having to change the height to go between the green and the fairway. Search your part number, belts for the, okay. Interesting. I do have a couple Toro. Rinder's the place that I've been getting most of my fertilizer from this year, is also a Toro dealer. So I think that's a place I can leverage. Now that I have a Toro, I don't have to drive that down to Chicago to find somebody that'll work on it. Put it in a spray bottle. What do we put in a spray bottle? Huh. Not following that one. Let's see. I mean, you guys are all here. What sort of, this is just a big lawn care creator chat at this point. What are you guys all working on? I got, oh, gotcha. That'd actually be hilarious to go out with like a Windex bottle and try to do 20,000 square feet of a fungicide application with, you know, a 10-ounce Windex bottle. I have that old Scott's 2-gallon that I bought originally as my glyphosate sprayer, but then I bought the Ryobi, which then made my 4-gallon pump Scott's sprayer, the glyphosate sprayer. So I did break out that 2-gallon to at least do the PGR and fungicide on the green, because I couldn't really leave that off any longer. I was going to lose the whole thing. Get a front roller for the McLean, probably the group, but yeah, that was clutch. That the manual McLean I had the grooved roller on the front of it. Cut in the fairway. Yeah, and you have like a nice little straight section from your yard where like my fairway is kind of obscure. And also it's all like on the side of a hill, so whenever I actually get onto a golf course, everything feels uncomfortable because the ball's not way below my foot, and also I suck, so there's that. But yeah, I'm very hopeful I got to measure out all my landscape beds, and get mulch, and then finish up that project, which I am so jazzed that I actually managed to successfully pour a concrete walkway and step with having no experience doing that. And there's some spots where you can tell somebody did it who didn't know what they were doing, but super pumped about that. And then I'm on to the green renovation and the final section of the renovation in the front yard. But with Hunter. Oh, Hunter the company, not Hunter a person. I was trying to figure out who Hunter was. That's awesome. So is Hunter basically trying to, when you say a DIY above ground, is basically Hunter trying to leverage, I actually right now out front, a Hunter DIY above ground irrigation system is running, which I should actually probably go turn off because it's about time to turn it off. But so basically, have they taken kind of the Ryan Knorr idea where you just hose together a bunch, or is it actually like a dedicated thing that then you can put above ground? Need a video showing the sprinkler heads. Okay. Yep, I saw that one with the Hunter rep talking about the rotators, which are great sprinkler heads, but my area is too big and I'm pretty sure they don't make a 300. I wish they made a 360-degree rotator, because then I would use rotators for everything. Yes, bent grass will spread, and it will look god awful anywhere that you mow taller than like an inch. Like, it will look so bad. I spent my first 2 years in this house excuse me, not having any idea that what I had was bent grass. I just knew I had a problem grass that every summer looked like absolute shite. And then I finally figured it out that it was bent grass, and then that was why I started the putting green. Once you cut it short, I really, really like it. Long, it is trash. It's so bad. It just lays over, it gets diseased, and it cooks itself to death. And just like smothers, it's like self-asphyxiates and just commits suicide in the middle of the summer if you cut it any taller than like an inch. It's awful. It's not even that it gets shaggy. It all like grows over itself and lays over and dies. So if you've ever seen like back towards the white trash village behind the garage, like all the overgrown areas, towards that way, kind of where I have that inflatable pool, there's the area that's always like brown and splotchy and looks really bad. That's the bent grass not cut short. Cut short, I really like it though. The fairway looks fantastic, and it turns into this like really really thick, soft carpet because the blades are really really thin in comparison to like Kentucky bluegrass or really any of the other grass types that I'm used to. The blades are super thin and fine, so it's incredibly soft, and it's walk on a fairway like a really really nice golf course fairway is so soft, and I mean that's essentially what it is. Um, Clint, you could do it in the front. There are things that Blake Graham, not familiar with your channel, was on my suggested page, so I clicked the support. Love lawn care. Hey, that's fantastic. Also, shout out to YouTube doing me a solid and putting me on the suggested page. Thank you so much for stopping by. I do lawn care the best I can in an effort to help people the best I can. I have Kentucky bluegrass in the front yard, a existing salad in my backyard, a putting green in my backyard, and a couple other various landscape projects that I'm doing. So appreciate you so much for stopping by. That's awesome. Is it high maintenance? The pen cross that I seeded is not. So whatever the existing bent grass variety that came up when we cut the apple tree down and whatever runs down around the back of my ash trees, down the fairway, on the green, that stuff just checked out immediately and threw in the towel the second like the heat and the drought came in. So that is just gone in the green. So I put out that video talking about the mistakes. All of the brown in the green was basically the existing turf that was there and just basically cooked and just threw in the towel immediately. The pen cross, however, managed to make it that whole time. And I was not watering. I was not watering like I should have been for a putting green. I was not, I missed a disease application. I am just fertilizing it like I fertilize my backyard in general, so I'm not really doing anything special for it. And it stayed green and was looking really good. The pen cross little spots that are pen cross on the green stayed good the whole time. So some of the better cultivars are about as hardy as anything else. But whatever I had in the yard, whatever was already here, was very, very finicky. Surrounded by perennial, right? Yeah, you guys can all learn that lesson. I will say quinclorac will control and to some degree kill bent grass. Tenacity mesotrione will control and to some degree kill bent grass, and fluazaflop will to some degree kill and control bent grass. So if it starts going into places you don't want, quinclorac will knock it down. So I sprayed the parts of my yard that have bent in that I don't want them to have bent in when I did my just general weed spot spray, and I use a product that has quinclorac in it. That's Spectracide weed and crabgrass killer has quinclorac in it, and that will pretty effectively stunt the bent grass. And so kind of what I've been doing is I did one overseed a couple of years at the end of 2019, just a Scott's Sun and Shade that had rye and KBG and chewings and like red and chewings fescue in it, I think. And so basically just every year whenever I do my weed application, I spray that area that has bent pretty heavy, and it kind of dies out. And then each year the KBG comes in and starts to kind of backfill, and the chewing fescues as well start to kind of backfill those areas, and it's becoming less and less bent, which is nice. But yeah, also backwoods, you have to take out several mortgages on your home to get the bent grass that you bought. So does it go dormant first? Not that I remember. No, I mean I mowed it in December last year, and it had grown a little bit. So I mowed it in December of last year, and it was granted last year was weird. It was like 50 degrees in December. Thanks, George. Appreciate you stopping by, and thanks again for the donation. Appreciate it. Silly question. Get a lot of American robins poking on my soil, and now that I'm practicing at a half, see this chat bubble goes away. Now that I'm practicing at a half inch, I see the holes all over the place. I'm worried about the bentgrass seeding. Are you seeing the holes, or are you seeing worm castings, or both? The thing that you don't understand that you have as a problem until you start mowing low is worm castings. That is just unbelievable. The sheer volume of, granted it's slowed down now that the soil's drier and we're into the summer, but this spring, every single day, it looked like 1,000 tiny poos on my putting green. Every day. It's like the one thing that actually justified my purchase of the leveling rake is the fact that that was the best tool that I have available to me to knock down all the worm castings. But in terms of like robins picking at your grass, it's my understanding they don't eat the grass seed, and realistically they're just aerating for you. And on the green, you're going to have to be periodically top dressing as well, lightly. So anytime you do those kind of periodic top dresses, it's gonna fill those holes in. But it's at least I at least believe, or I've seen somewhere, that birds don't generally eat grass seed. Realistically, they're probably getting you pretty decent seed to soil contact. But yeah, we have a ton of robins. I tried to start filming a video earlier, and I had to wait because I had two hawks flying around, so like all the smaller birds were just going nuts. So many birds. And yeah, to Ryan's point, bentgrass seed is laughably small. Like it's actually very, very difficult to spread and manipulate and work with. Real Turf uses a by the way, if none of you are subscribed to Real Turf, the YouTube channel, REEL Turf, go subscribe now. But also he uses like a Parmesan cheese can, or like some sort of little canister that has, you know, the little holes on top of it, and uses that as like a shaker to overseed his putting green. And honestly, that makes a lot of sense. Or it's like a little coffee can that he poked little holes in the lid to make it so that it'll. Thanks, Clint, for stopping by. And yeah, I think everybody's dropping off because it's getting late here and we all got to work tomorrow. So I'm probably nearing the end of the show here as well. Mason sand for the rental, but after the top dressing, would Lowe's Mason sand work? I don't see why not. I feel like Mason sand is Mason sand. I could be wrong. I am not a mason, so I can't talk to you about what might be different about somebody's mason sand over somebody else's mason sand. But seeing as how that's what someone is using to make mortar to stack the things that make a foundation up, I would imagine it's pretty important that it's all the same. So I'm going to assume it's the same. I'm fortunate enough to be located half-mile from a quarry, and I'm also fortunate enough to have a lot big enough where I can just have a stack of sand somewhere. So I will continue to just go the route where I go there, pay $50 and get a yard of sand, and just use that until it runs out. And again, Clint, have a great night. Really appreciate you stopping by and being in the chat. Yeah, I think the thing with Mason sand is it doesn't have any rocks in it. If there's not Mason available, I would try to avoid pretty much anything else. I've never actually, Ryan, maybe a question for you. Have you ever looked into like buying the bagged USGA sand? I follow also another channel you should all subscribe to and follow if you don't already is Fairway John, who is a just a general groundskeeper at a golf course, and he just basically follows along with kind of his career, basically with his job. Not really a lot of footage of what he's actually doing because he is at work when he's filming, but he talks through a lot of what he's doing, and he's showed when they want to do top dresses with like Lesco spreaders, they have specific sand that they buy in the bag so that it's dry. But I haven't actually looked into if like just normal people can get that and how much it is. But that would be a great option as well. And then it comes to you dry, so you could put it in a spreader and throw it out that way. Whereas if you get it from a quarry or even probably in a bag, it's wet enough where it's not going to flow out of a spreader. Which I still want to try that, by the way. I want to try to dry out some of the just stock mason sand I have and see if I can get it to flow out the what is my fertilizer spreader brand? Agrifab. Flow out the Agrifab spreader. Play sand will work, but it is a little bit on the rocky side. At least my first top dress on the putting green in the backyard was play sand. But it is a little bit on the rocky side. Yeah, Fairway John has my favorite intro on YouTube. It's like the most serene thing ever with that like totally washed out cathedral reverb like chant over the top of pans, like morning pans across the golf course with all the dew on it. It's so soothing. And he just seems like a cool dude. Hey Andy, welcome back. I actually intended to end this stream early enough to be able to edit a video for tomorrow, and I still might. I finished editing most of my videos around midnight, get most of them uploaded about 1 in the morning, so maybe I'll still do that. But nice to see you back. Can't wait for this rain to stop. Send it this way, man. It will not rain. Oh, that's what you said. Okay, send it over to you. Yes. All right, I didn't make it through all the whole comment. But anyway, I think that's going to do it for me. I'll take a minute here for the folks that are here. Any last minute questions, anything you want me to talk about, and I'll answer those here for another 2 or 3 minutes. If not, I'm going to wrap it up. So I really, really do appreciate, like I said, having an active chat in a live stream is like my favorite thing about having a YouTube channel. So I really, really do appreciate every single one of you. Thank you so much. Compare and save for the killing. Not familiar with that. I don't know what that means. But yeah, I'll give her a couple 2-3 seconds here, see if anybody has any questions I can address, and if not, we will all call it a Tuesday. All right. Well, again, thank you all so much. Really do appreciate it. And we have a couple of videos coming up that I filmed today over the next couple of days. Keep an eye out for those. Subscribe to all of the channels of people who are in the chat here if you're not already. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and we will see you next time.